Mike, how are you?
Hey, kumusta, Lee?
So what? This is our first episode of On the
Yep,
Green.
yep. First episode. I'm so excited.
Well, nakakapanibago to. No? So we really still don't know how this will go from here on. Pero ano nga ba yung naisip natin? Ba't natin ginagawa to?
Well, yeah, di ba? Parehas tayo ng passion. And I think yung mga hindi nakakilala sa atin, di ba? We're both from the same university. We graduated from Ateneo. Actually, nag-meet tayo after a long time sa isang seminar sa June Golf, no?
Sa JJFP, yes.
And then you were the one who talked first, and then I, diba? Parang talk for athletes who were going to the States, no?
Yes,
Sabi ko, kilala kita Lee Tahonera. Sabi ko, malamang Atenista to. And then we hit it off right away, diba? Meeting na yun.
I remember nakita ko yung gadget mo kasi diba part of my talk I was talking about yung left brain, right brain thing. And then sabi mo may actual gadget para dyan and then hindi ako paniwala.
Yeah, for measuring the activity, no?
Yeah. So yeah, I think dun talaga yun na we both enjoy the game. Obviously, I would like to emphasize yung enjoy lang because as far as skill level, medyo malayo yung basta mahilig lang. But I think your background, I feel you've really advanced the level of golf instruction here in the country. So parang doon naman in my field naman on the mental side of things, I've always believed kasi if you're helping a golfer or an athlete, palaging dapat merged yun it's never just one or the other. It's not just coaching and all that, no? So yeah, well, I think sabi natin, diba, we wanted to kind of start things off with although this show is really about golf, and all the other mga, maybe coaching techniques, maybe coaching tips, and whether it's on the swing, the technique, or mental side. But we said we wanted to start with a more, I guess, a more encompassing topic, parenting.
A topic that's close to both of our hearts. Kasi we're both sports parents, and we also work with a lot of youth athletes, no?
Yes, that's true.
I think at this point, maybe magbubuhat muna tayo ng bangko, no? Let's introduce ourselves properly.
Sige. Sure.
Ikaw muna. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I've actually been practicing sports psych for nung chinek ko. I never really tracked that. 10 years na rin pala. So, it's been quite a while. And, my undergrad degree in college was psychology, and parang it just became a natural flow for me to go into sports psychology. I never became 6-footer. I wanted to be a professional basketball player, pero wala, But I'm
pero magaling ka mag-basketball kasi I remember you sa college covered court.
Intrams. Problema, naging factor na yung height, And, but, I've always been connected. I mean, my enjoyment for sports in general has always been there, So, so even if I try, even I work regular jobs, doing corporate, I've always maintained itong yung champion's edge, And experience has been really great so far, I continue to work with either individual athletes or teams, or give a couple of talks here and there, And I think ito nga kaya nga excited ako dito sa show na to kasi dun pa lang sa groups ko, of course the golf buddies that I play with, syempre baka same level kami, a little higher handicap, 18 and above, ang daming questions and related to this topic din, madami rin kasi mga young parents na ganyan. So I mean, pretty much that's me. No, I'm connected also with the Inspire Sports Academy in Laguna, and I also handle distribution for an international brand. But this is where I'm really passionate about. Ikaw?
Ako, basically, I started coaching 20 years ago. This is my 20th year in coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I started out mostly beginners lang, mostly novice golfers lang. The first 5 years, I was happy doing that. Around 05, 06, I started getting more juniors, elite players, and then I take pride in the fact that I was able to bring some of them from junior to all the way to professional. And I don't know, in the country, in the Philippines, there's few people who've actually done it na galing sa junior all the way to professional.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of that. But I would say half of my clients are juniors, professionals. I have a few mga college scholars in the States. And but I also, get a lot of fulfillment helping yung mga weekend warriors, yung mga average golfers. Kasi when you have better players, kahit naman anong paggawa mo sa kanila, magagawa nila eh.
Magagawa nila.
Yeah, magagawa nila, talented mga yan. And when you have like average golfers, yung medyo once a week lang nakakalaro, twice a week lang nakakalaro, it's actually very fulfilling to be able to get them to achieve their potential despite their limitations, no? So yun. Yeah, I guess that's it, no?
Well, yung swing analysis mo dun sa pinadala kong video, gusto ko masubukan na talaga sa range eh. Bitin talaga yung space eh. Pero yeah, siguro we hope to get a lot of questions down the road related to any golf topic. No? Pero yung ngayon is we want to shed some light lang, di ba? Based on our experience working with kids and being sports dads ourselves on the role of parents, di ba?
Sobrang importante.
Oo. Siguro let's start with this first question, which normally is it's a question associated with golf. One of the questions that we got was, how, as a parent, how do you support your child in such an expensive sport?
So, yeah, when you texted me that, sabi ko, matagal yan, mahaba yan.
Oo. Pero I mean, for in your case, anong tingin mo sa ganon? Is there that if you don't have the money, wala, malabo na kagad, even if the kid really like.
Sana nandito yung tatay ko, masagot niya yun. Kasi I remember he was, kumbaga pinagtatawanan siya dati ng mga kaibigan niya. Kasi hindi naman siya sobrang yaman. He was not like, and then he got not just one but two. My brother Angelo. So he got two of us to play an expensive sport. So how to answer that? Sa kanya, in his case, he did everything in his power to give us the opportunity. Yun naman yung tawag dito. I guess the first role of the parent is to be able to give opportunity. Ngayon, maraming mga magagaling na golfer dyan na hindi naman galing sa, sabi natin,
rich families.
The privileged demographic, and they're able to get to that elite level. So it's not impossible.
Ako how I would answer that question nga is draw from my own experience when I was learning it, no? And feeling ko it's something na pwedeng sundan din ng parents, no? Kasi in my case, yun naman din talaga yung big hurdle at the start, or at least the perception, di ba, that golf is such an expensive sport. Yeah, it is din naman. It costs, significant amount to play on a regular basis. Pero ako ginawa ko kasi nagsimula ako second hand na hindi set isang club. All I did was I was based in the States that time. I ordered from eBay one used 7-iron. For some reason, I think there's another question medyo related kung paano ka mag-start sa anong aspect of the game, diba? But ako parang I was just going through I'll go for a middle club and try to get the motions in, and then as you try and deserve to buy more clubs and eventually fill out your whole set. So parang I think I've talked to some parents na rin ng ganyan na parang baliktad, no? Rich parents naman who were on the verge of like buying like really expensive equipment for a beginner, a young kid, no? So sinasabi ko pala, which was based naman on my experience, you don't have to buy a new set right away and ganyan. So, di ba? Hindi gano'n naman siyang
Yeah,
especially if the idea lang naman is to get the child into golf, di ba? To try it out at the very least. Yung ano ba yung other questions natin dyan? I think yung isa, I think this is from Coach Dan.
Yeah. Well, before that, I think I want to add something to that first question. If you look at the Pro Tour, our professional tour, the local Pro Tour at least, matitingnan mo yung mga names, okay? A lot of the players, I would say half of the players, galing sa, hindi man siguro half, but a big portion, a big chunk of the players, galing sa Caddy rank. So, kung iisipin mo na imposible, it's a rich man's sport, pero papansin mo, maraming magagaling na galing sa Caddy ranks.
And tsaka maganda sa sinasabi mo kasi, Mike, yung sample case mo is local diba? So I mean, if kapwa Pinoy parent asks us, our Pro Tour, like you're saying, a big a big chunk, no?
Yeah, they reach the top level. Paano nila nagawa yon? And in sometimes naiisip ko parang sometimes parang limitation pa nga yung when you have all the resources at your disposal. But yun nga, it's not impossible. It's definitely challenging, right? Na mag-uumpisa ka sa, let's say, like in your case, isang club muna. Okay? Tawag dito. And then you go from there. Kung meron talagang potential or meron talagang talent, it will show up Lalabas yun Kung wala, it will show up din.
Hindi kaya yun Kaya ako na naisip na I think it's a good segue to the coach, the question of Coach Dan.
Yeah.
Because now that I'm thinking about it in my experience, I started out with one club. Yeah. I think Coach Dan's question was, diba? Which area do you start? Diba? Parang do you play on the fairway na kagad ba? Diba? I think that was his question or range muna, no?
I'll start with my experience. My first experience of golf, actually, golf course na kagad. Hindi
talaga.
So I got this old putter. Old putter. One putter lang. It wasn't even an iron, putter. And then I hit that ball from tee box all the way to the green. It took me 20 shots my first hole to get to the no lesson, no instruction.
Putter lang.
Putter lang. I was 11 years old. Putter lang. Hit that ko all the way to the green, and I got hooked because of that. So to answer that question, by the way, yung putter niya before the end of the round, basag na.
Okay, akala I was gonna say, is it still in your bag?
Yeah, the club face came off kasi parang metal plate siya on a cast, body. So it came off before the end of the round. But that got me hooked. So to answer that question, whatever gets the child hooked on the sport, yun yung ano. So there's another guy who another one, he's actually a student of mine. He asked the same question. Where do you start? And sabi ko, jokingly, it depends. Safe answer, it depends. Pero actually, totoo yan. I was serious. Half serious. Half joking, half serious. Anyway. So, whatever gets the child hooked. Let's say, yung area mo, wala namang putting green. I mean, some people say, unahin mo yung putting. Kung walang putting
kung walang putting green, yeah.
Let's say you live right next to a driving range, and basically, if that you know strike gets that first few strikes gets the child hooked, then panalo ka na. Or if you ang sayang ngayon before maraming mga mini golf anywhere you go may mini golf panahon. Wala tayong edad natin,
alam natin yung mga yan. Par 42, Sandville.
Yeah, Sandville. No? Maraming avenues to start eh. So, yung mini golf, may mini golf, di ba? Diba? I would start my kid there. Or I'm sure you know Abe Rosal, no? Abe Rosal, kinento niya sa akin. You know how he got hooked? No. Sinama sa golf course, ang tawag dito, ang nagpa-hook sa kanya was the golf cart. He rode the golf cart, sinadrop ng golf cart, he got hooked. So, anything to get the child hooked into that sport, yun yung tamang paraan. There's no right way for everyone. There's no one size fits all.
Ako I would add to that na parang hindi naman yung safe answer na it depends, no? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I think it's as a parent, no, it's like you said, no, yung in your case, no, with your dad, no, he found ways to involve you, no? So for me it doesn't matter if you start out, yun nga, una muna the logistics of things, like you said, wala namang putting green. Pero I think for me it's more of I think the crucial part there kasi sometimes I've come across parents na parang nasayang yung ininvest namin kasi after nung ayaw na, umayaw na, di ba? So I think the key decision there is not really, I mean, the question shouldn't be sa range ba natin simulan yung anak ko or sa course, but it's really more of are you willing to try it out, no? Meaning referring to the kid. And then it's something that the kid willingly does. And then as a parent, I need to stay there din naman and not pag nakita lang na initan na aalis na tapos sige na, wag na, iba naman. Let's just na lang, di ba? Go to another sport or whatever. So I think that's the more important thing, trying to get your kid into golf. It's that decision then as a parent, di ba?
You said something really really important din. Sabi mo investment. This is my tawag dito, plea to the parents. Sabi mo investment ba? I'd rather you not think about it as investment. Kasi pag inisip mo investment, may ine-expect kang return. Yung return na can be achievements, trophies, college scholarship, money on the professional tour career. Yun ang iniisip natin na return on investment eh. If you think that way, this will ruffle some feathers for sure, no?
Yeah, sure.
If you think that way, talo ka. You know why? The percentage of paano ba sabihin? people who actually get to the big leagues, yung elite level, professional level, is 1% of 1%.
Maliit lang yan eh. Maliit lang yan eh.
Talo ka doon. So if that's your goal, is to have a return on investment, okay, let's say if your kid is really talented, you have nothing to worry about. Things will, will pan out. Mananalo at mananalo yan. Because of the talent. As long as gusto niya. Right? The problem is, when we try to guarantee the success, doon na nagkakaproblema. Now, my suggestion always is, tingnan natin yung journey ng bata. Okay? That's the reward. Kung ano man yung makuha niyang life lessons sa paglaro niya ng golf, whether or not gumaling siya, maging career niya, or maging Tiger Woods siya, or, whatever, manalo siya ng trophy, irrelevant na yun.
Yeah.
Kung ano yung natutunan niya dun sa sport na yun, that's what he's gonna bring. Let's say he didn't make it, that's what he's gonna bring to his workplace, to his family, yung mga life skills, yung mga human skills. So, yun yung I know parang contradictory sa trabaho ko kasi high performance coach.
Yeah.
That's what I'm preaching. But then, without talent, kahit anong coaching mo, hindi naman yan makakaabot dun eh. So yun. Parang another analogy would be, instead of thinking of it as an investment, it's actually like parang gambling siya. Kumbaga, I know it's maybe not such a what do you call this? Wholesome idea. Pero when you go to a casino to gamble for fun, whether you win or lose money, you had your fun.
Yeah.
Right? Pero if you go into the casino thinking about winning money, talo ka, because the house will always win.
The house always wins.
Diba? So yun yung analogy ko. So for parents, if you go into the sport thinking of it as an investment, that's medyo tricky yan. If you really think that your kid has talent, you have nothing to worry about. You just have to provide him with opportunity to compete.
Yeah.
And to be surrounded by good people, gagaling at gagaling yan. It's just a matter of time. Hindi mo lang masasabi kung kailan. It will show up at 12, 15 years old, 20 years old, 25, 30. You won't know.
So iba ang ang trajectory ng golf sa ganyan eh.
Oo.
In fact, yung something related nga dyan is yung kasi you mentioned nga yung an often question then that's asked sometimes madalas is yung let's say kunwari, is it na ipa-focus siya fully on golf, no? Especially when it comes to mga junior golfers, di ba? Kasi we see that a lot, di ba? Na sometimes the kid is doing nothing anymore else except play golf. And
I'm curious. I'm very curious kung ano yung philosophy mo dyan.
Hindi, ako ang philosophy ko dyan baliktad eh. I would advise parents not to for their not for their kids to specialize eh. Meaning on the sport ha. Kasi for me, kasi di ba madami ang tanong yan eh. Well, actually hindi tanong eh. I don't know if you've had parents come up to you and say, alam mo yung anak ko gifted eh. So minsan, I think this description is thrown around too loosely sometimes, yung giftedness. No? I mean, people don't realize sometimes there are may criteria talaga for you to be gifted. No? But so sometimes the tendency is talagang isusuyod sa golf, no? And we see people who actually lalabas din talaga yung but we also see a lot of burnout and everything, no? But on the contrary, for me, baliktad eh. If you, like you said, if you think he or she is talented, your kid, the exposure to the opportunity, I think, is the most important. No? But as far as development, I would get him or her into many sports.
Yeah, I agree.
Diba? Kasi I think yun din ang nangyayari. We have a big gap eh. When you look at our golfers here in the Philippines, from junior level and then to let's say kunwari yung Philippine golf team before. No? Seniors, medyo matatanda yung players before and then the junior, and there's this big gap in between. No? And I think I read somewhere na parang in comparison to, let's say, the other countries who are able to sustain yung mga young golfers nila eventually develop. Because these golfers who actually do well played other sports. No? Mm-hmm. Ang problema kasi nahahype si Tiger's life kasi is iba eh. Di ba? Yeah. Parang he was forced to make a decision. Di ba? But even then, he was playing multiple sports. Kasi the other sports will help you develop your muscles, everything. So ako yun yung parang sabihin dyan. Sige, expose them to golf, but if you can play basketball or football or swim, di ba?
So I don't know if you will agree, no? When I look at development or skill development, I look at it as a parang pyramid, no? The bottom is the behavioral side, yung emotional, mental, and then yung gitna yung physical. Then saka pa lang yung technical. Right? That bakit siya yung pinakamaliit at siya yung pinakahuli? Kasi habang tumatangkad yung bata, habang lumalaki, the technique is constantly changing. But then but then the focus at least what I see locally is masyadong na-emphasize dun sa technical skills before the physical skills, and definitely mas yung minsan na-etsapuera yung pinakailalim, which is yun yung expertise mo, di ba? Kasi gusto mo mag-swing like a champion or to move like a champion, right? But he doesn't have the physical abilities to move that way.
Yeah.
And even if he can do that, he doesn't have the support down here, the mental aptitude, the emotional yung tawag dito, yung toughness, adversity quotient nila mababa. So pagdating nila ng let's say sabihin natin skilled sila at a young age, they're winning all kinds of tournaments. Pagdating nila ng gitna, and then sanay na sila marinig na, yung galing-galing mo, yung galing-galing mo. Pagdating nila ng early teens, mid-teens, doon na sila nakahanap talaga ng totoong competition.
Laban na talaga. Strong field na.
And then, nagda-doubt na sila, kala ko ba magaling ako? Bakit nahirapan ako ngayon?
And then, the problem when it gets to that point, ang nangyayari doon is, let's say, 4 years nagdo-dominate, no? And then, it hits a wall because now you have a tighter field and a really stronger field. And because in the past 4 years, there was no experience of losing. No? So, there was no actual experience that the child can draw that feeling, 'di ba? So nangyayari nagpa-panic. Walang mahugot kasi palaging panalo eh. 'Di ba? And ang minsan mas masakit pa doon is the kid shoots his average and normally his average would be enough to win it. But now yung average niya it's far like maybe not even inside the top 5, no? So parang mas lalong, diba? It starts crumbling down eh. Diba? I've seen that. No? I mean, not just in golf. No? A lot of the sports.
Sobra. I mean, and it doesn't help that, when parents start to, yung nga sabi mo, they think their kids are gifted, which sometimes totoo naman talaga.
Yeah.
My kid is gifted. Ako, may anak ako, nag-resume golf. And then, nananalo, first for early years nananalo. And then at some point, biglang, may competition na. And then there's that tendency to compare. So yung basihan mo nung magaling is always, ang reference mo yung kalaban mo. Right? Which is medyo unhealthy na. Kumbaga, I know of some, I won't mention their names. Pero constantly, ang ginagawa lang, ang barometer...
Yun ang benchmark, no?
Yeah, ang barometer nila of success is yung kalaban. So paano yun? What can you say about that in terms of yung true development of the golfer?
Yun ang problem doon. Kasi ako, I think the way we approach our fields, no, and I've seen naman how you do your instruction with, even with your videos, na yung problem dun sa gano'n, na when the focus starts becoming external, no, which, you get away from yung sinasabi mo kaninang journey. Yeah. Diba? And I think doon tayo pareho in terms of our approach na the important thing is the process, diba? That kid goes through. And the result is just there, diba? Sobrang icing na lang on the cake yun, no? And yun ang nangyayari. If you start comparing to the other kid or the kid who beat you the last time, you're going away now from the things, ito, no, from a mental perspective. Instead of focusing on those steps, those little things that will allow you to swing properly, now you're looking at pinupakan ni nung kalabang yung drive niya.
Dapat kaya mo rin yun.
Kailangan abutin ko yun para hindi ako maghahabol, di ba? So nangyayari, wala na yung whatever the routine was, hindi na. Doon pa lang physiological, biglang without the kid knowing it, because kailangan mong habulin yung 300-yard drive ng batang yon. Sa pa-address pa lang, talo na because he doesn't know it. His shoulders are tense. Ganyan, kasi ang nasa utak, upakan ko itong bola, di ba? So, and then it snowballs na, no? And then after that, bakit nag-slice, no? And then you're playing catch up and you're digging the grave deeper and deeper after every shot.
Yeah. So, I guess secondary to that, yung getting the child hooked, whatever gets the child hooked, that's number one. Number two is you get them to love the process, more than getting so engrossed with the outcome.
Yeah, the score, the result. Yeah. And alam mo yan yung I think that's the hardest to mind shift, no? Or even in terms of approach, kasi like you said kanina, yung your pyramid, no? Dulo na yung technique, di ba? Especially our generation, tayo Gen X tayo, di ba? So we are ang teaching model sa atin noon was di ba? Target numbers, di ba? You have to make the grade. So, whether we did the process correctly, hindi na yun no? By hook or by crook, we would make the grade, no? So, it's been wired. So, let's say, our fellow parents out there, di ba? With let's say, children golfers, di ba? Siyempre, yun din ang dinadala ng parent, no? This was how I learned it before, no? So, it's very focused sa outcome, sa score, passing grade, di ba? And parang wala pa yung confidence, bitawan yung ganong thinking. Kasi yun yung nakasanayan, no? And unknowingly, we pass it on to our kids when we teach them things. It's, nagawa mo na ba? Nasa na yung final result, di ba? Hindi yung during, di ba? Did you do this step first? Did you do it properly? O consistent ba na ginagawa? Yun yung nami-miss out. So that's why ang hirap to help a kid or let's say a young golfer shift to that mindset na you just focus on your, di ba? Yung kung ano lang yung within your control. Kasi yung nagti 300 yard drive na kalaban mo, wala ka namang, hindi mo na makokontrol yun eh. I mean, unless sigawan mo, no? Backswing.
Yun. So, that's good. So, we mentioned earlier, di ba, parang parehas tayo may anak tayo na nasa sport. What's your experience like in that regard?
Ako, he actually started, when I took him to the driving range, he was, maliit pa talaga. No? Enjoy siya, siguro mga 2-3 times. And then I think siguro I didn't bring him regularly. And then I think maybe a couple of years passed, dinala ko uli siya. Hindi na niya type. Hindi na siya nag-enjoy. I mean, ewan ko, kasi di ba, mahirap naman kasi talaga tamaan yung golf ball eh. Di ba? So, siguro ganun siya. Ako, honestly, at that point, I was trying to think, para do I do the approach na nakasanayan ko with, let's say, my parents na, tuloy mo yan. Hindi ka aalis dito hanggang hindi mo ubusin yan. Or yung ngayon na because of my own understanding of child psychology and everything na, like to your point na whatever will hook the kid in. Diba? So, what I ended up doing was just, I let him be. No? Parang sabi ko na lang, well, I will keep on trying. No? Sama ka sa akin. Ganyan. But, I don't know, no? Kasi madami rin naman nag-succeed sa ganun eh. Even like, kunwari, piano lessons, di ba? Pipilitin ka nanay mo or dad mo. And eventually, on hindsight, buti pala pinilit ako kasi now I know how to play, no? And there's always, that's a different school of thought altogether. Pero ako, in my case, yung nangyari.
I guess the question is, how do you strike that balance, no? Na, kunyari, totoong nakikita mo na may potential yung anak mo, he or she has an aptitude for a certain sport.
Yeah.
But then ayaw niya. So how do you balance that, no?
Well, a big part there is, I think one thing you should not do is to force that issue, no? I mean, may chance yan na it might pinwersa mo okay. Pero you don't wanna mess around kasi with the other probability na pinwersa mo and then it backfires na. I mean, the last thing you wanna happen is to have, malamat yung relationship ninyo, 'di ba? So, ako what I would parang recommend sa ganyan is to continue exposing, no? In some manner, no? Whether it's let's say there's a Netflix movie on para yung The Short Game yung 'di ba yung I mean I'm not saying na parang ganadaya mo yung anak mo na sinasattle mo yung ganun, but I mean there are ways naman it doesn't always have to be sumama ka biting kita sa range sayang talent mo.
May kilala akong parent ang slogan niya is because sabihin pangalan niya actually kilala mo siya malamang eh. Never force, just manipulate.
Never what?
Never force, just manipulate.
Well, I mean that's that's one way of looking at it. Pero like I said, pwede mo na maipuwersa yan, no? Pero as a parent nga di ba? Why do you wanna gamble, take that risk na it might, turn out wrongly, no? So
may kikwento ako. Speaking of pilit, So yung mga difficult relationships ng father and child, and I'm witness to this all the time. Siyempre pagka nandyan yung father and child, usually father-child yun yung medyo difficult eh. Pag nandyan si tatay, siyempre hindi nakakapagsalita yung anak. Pag wala na si tatay, sa akin, magko-confide. To-confide. And then, papasok sa utak niya. Sabi niya, before I even hit a bad shot, before I even finish the round, I'm already thinking about what I'm gonna say to my dad. And this guy is a professional. Professional na siya. adult na siya, pero ganun pa rin siya mag-isip. Kasi na-condition siya ganun mag-isip na pag may masama siyang ginawa sa golf course o meron siyang mali, he has to come up with a defense.
He had to explain it.
And which is sad, di ba? Na it has to come to that. Then, yun nga, babalik tayo dun sa role ng parent. Yung balik, for me, at least, that pyramid, yung pinakailalim, yun yung trabaho talaga ng parent. But then, a lot of times, dito sila nakafocus to the point na kahit may coach na yung bata, so nag-feed pa rin siya. So, yun eh. So, pag nagawa mo yung trabaho mo dito in his younger years, you don't have to.
Yeah. In fact, gusto kong i-segue dyan sa sinabi mo yan. Kasi, I mean, it's fitting because the topic is the role of the parent. Di ba? Yun eh. And I've seen this. No? We've been citing examples of yung mga hindi natin gustong nakikita. Di ba? But there are also a lot of model cases dito, locally, na the parent actually understands their role.
Oh, yeah.
So, makikita mo yung difference eh. I mean, the difference is not in the championships won, but at least the kid, he can see the difference in terms of the confidence. Na parang yun nga eh, na in fact, minsan, what I see, if the parent doesn't know the sport, sometimes it's better. Kasi it's easier to let go. No? Parang I worked with a parent. This was a different sport. Doesn't play the game at all. But they were both just ever present and support. Pero yung that part, the technique, talagang full task lang yung coach. That's it. Yeah. No? And then doon lang sila. No? I don't know if you saw that picture. It's always part of my slides. So when I talk about parents and child athletes na. There's a picture of in football, no? Si Messi and I believe it was another teammate niya, no? High-profile football superstars na watching their kids in a football clinic. But these two superstars, global football superstars, walang pakialam. Nakaganon lang and they were shouting at para yun eh. The role of the parent ends, no? Well, let's say for a training session or practice is pag nahatid mo na doon, maghihintay ka. Yun na yun. Tapos na yung role mo. Di ba? Magkape ka dyan, magbasa ka ng dyaryo, mag-check ka ng social media mo. And let the coach do the job na. Kasi minsan ang nangyayari, yun nga hindi kasi clear yung mga yung mga demarcation doon eh. Sometimes the parent, I don't know, maybe there's some guilt in it that haven't done a lot or spent too much time. So minsan pati sa mga golf lessons maya may point na emphasize yung golf coach. Look up. Tapos ano comments papasok na.
You know ako, I used to think ganon. I used to think, okay, parents, bring the kid to me. I'll take care of him. Leave us alone. I don't know when exactly I started this practice, but I think 3 or 4 years ago, I started asking the parent to be present. And I actually appreciate it more pag nandyan siya kasi he can actually hear what I'm saying and I can actually parang nangyayari, I guess this is connected to the role of the parent mo. Hindi naman ibig sabihin hindi ka na pwedeng makialam.
Yeah.
Pero I would like a second pair of eyes. Kunyari, I can't follow everyone on the golf course or in a tournament, but the parents, if they can learn to be objective and give, let's say, yung feedback to me, they become my assistant coach.
Yeah.
And that's a healthy kind of relationship.
Yun maganda yung gano'n.
Oo, nagre-report sila sa akin kasi wala ako doon, and then from there, umaandar yung cycle na I get feedback, I can help the kid, and then they can watch. So it makes my life a little easier. So I really appreciate those Yung mga
ganong... actually go, yeah. Hindi, yun naman ang crucial dun eh. No? As far as the teaching of the sport is concerned, diba? Syempre, primary, the parent will really have to defer na to the coach on that. No? But the important thing there naman is the parent malinaw dun sa anak niya na alam niya na doon lang yung parent niya. And yun yung parang just love watching your kid play. Yun yung ano dun eh. Yun yung parang para walang additional burden. And like in the example that you were saying, di ba, na let's say medyo hindi solid, hindi clean shot. Tapos nandun yung tatay, kabado na kasi diba? But if masanay, it becomes a habit, the kid, whether he's playing golf or football or whatever, nakikita niya na, uy, si Erpat hindi nakikialam mo. But I know he's there na pagka may kailangan or I wanted just to share na I had a good, let's say, a good pitch in this shot. At least, sabi ko sa kanya kasi nahiya naman ako ipagyabang sa iba. Yung, he's there for me to listen or whatever. Diba? So, I think yun yung line and maybe sometimes tayo as parents kasi hindi naman sa pagiging control freak but maybe because these are your children diba? So parang it's normal na you want the best so sometimes you wanna and yun nga the important thing really here is yun.
Can you say that sometimes it's because of our fear that the kids' performance kind of reflects our parenting. Parang ganun. There's that anxiety na baka ano sabihin ng ibang tao pag ganito yung anak ko. Parang ganun no? O posible.
Nandun din yun. Nandun din yun. I mean, di ba? Parang mangyayari kasi dyan. Yun nga. It's a reflection of who you are. So, you wanna make sure. Di ba? Yeah. Pero, yun nga there is that, ano ba yun? What's that? Parang, one of these old poems pen or something na parang they went through you but they're not really part of you. Mahirap yan. I mean, no one said parenting was a breeze. Ano yan But and I think that's why nga itong ginagawa natin ganitong show, I think it's very important. No? I mean, at least kasi what we're saying is hindi lang yung dahil we're just being self-righteous because we read it, but it's something that we've actually seen a lot. Different ages, diba? You handle a wide spectrum of ages, diba? So,
okay lang ba? I'd like to take this opportunity to honor my dad, no? Kasi
sure.
Yung dad ko before when I was active, junior golf. Ang gagawin niya, hahatid niya ako, kunyari. Hahatid niya ako sa golf course. Tournament, no? Tapos sabi niya, babalik na lang siya. Okay. And then, yung pala, nandun siya sa gilid ng puno, nanonood pala siya. But he's trying to get out of your way. Hindi siya makikialam. Nanonood lang siya. And then there was one time, I couldn't find my ball. But he was there, like mga 100 meters away, or maybe not 100 meters away, or maybe 50 yards away. Kita niya kung saan yung bola ko, but I couldn't find it. And he never interfered. And then at the end of the game, nung pauwi na kami, saka lang niya sinabi na, yung bola mo nandun sa nakita ko. Nasabi ko, at that time, I couldn't understand na, bakit mo sinabi sa akin?
Na lost ball ka pa tuloy ngayon.
Lost ball ka tuloy ako.
balik ka sa
But he taught me a really valuable lesson there on parenting. Sobrang and ganun siya. He will just tawag dito. Manonood siya and he'll be makita mo he's just happy to watch me play. He's not
yun ang crucial.
Kasi segue ko sa iyo kasi one of the questions I got is ano ba dapat ang sinasabi natin sa mga anak natin? Yun. Anong mga or hindi naman dapat ano yung mga what are the ways to the words and the things to say to our kids during competition or during yung mga tough times, no?
Well, ako pag ganyan, let's say, tournament day, and then, kasi magkakaiba stages yan eh. Yung before, yung during, tsaka yung after eh. Diba? But I think the general approach, if you're to think of things to say, because you can't help, kasi ikaw mismo, you're nervous, diba? You just focus on effort. No? At the very least, the effort. Kasi, yun eh. Well, babalik na naman ako dun sa when it comes to becoming mentally tough and everything, no? It's process no? Ang crucial, ang dapat focus. So, para walang frustration yung bata, you want to focus on the effort. No? Dalawa actually. Dalawang E, effort and enjoying. No? Now, ito yun ito ang parang caveat dyan. No? Kasi, narinig na naman natin yung ganyang recommendation. Diba? People just say, no? As long as you give your best, diba? And have fun out there, fine. Ang problema lang is we have to follow through on that. No? When we say that, pag after na, make sure na tayo rin as parents, consistent tayo doon. Kasi during game, syempre, it's nice to, at least hindi nakakabahan. Pero after the game, sabihin mo bigla, ano score mo? Bakit bakit hindi mo na birdie? Nakita ko, 3. So it beats the purpose.
Dapat ganyan.
Sayang pala kung tapos sana pala nag-drop ka na lang doon imbis na alam mo yung, and then it goes counter na to what you've been trying to establish. So hindi na maniniwala yung anak mo kasi next time I play, sabihin na do your best. Hindi naman niya, he doesn't mean that kasi papanoorin niya, titignan niya, sisitahin niya ako. So, there's a level of consistency that we have to, as parents mismo, na yun ang masasabihin mo, di ba? As long as walang problema, di ba?
I have a parent, no? I have a junior. I really like the way his dad is involved. Involved yung dad niya, pero he's hard in practice. Hindi yung hard na pinapagalitan yung anak. Pero pag may na-spot siya, kunyari, slacking, yung walang disiplina, walang respeto, dun siya naninita. Pero pagdating sa golf, medyo always runs things by me. Parang tatanong siya, coach, tama ba yung gano'n? Tama ba yung Pero dun sa other areas, yung sa behavioral nga, strict ko siya. Then, pagdating niya sa golf tournament na, competition niya, sobrang niyang bait. And it's no coincidence na yung anak niya is dominant in his age group. Kasi ganoon siya. Pagdating sa tournament, wala ka makikita, I've walked, madalas ako mag-walk with them sa tournament. Wala ka maririnig na negative na sa tatay niya. Okay? Not even in the car. So, I guess that's one, that's my take on that na may sasabihin man tayong negative, hintayin natin medyo lumamig muna. O hindi naman negative, yung critique. Diba?
Yeah.
We're, as parents, we should be entitled to that, diba? Pero, iin natin yung time. Kunyari, wag naman yung right after the game, tawag ito, sama na loob ng bata, tapos paparusahan mo kasi nagmintis ng ganito, o papagalitan mo, or in the car, the trip home, pinapagalitan mo. I would parang, gutom ka na ba? Kumain ka na ba? Let's make that a safe haven. Make the home or the car a safe haven.
Agree. Diba? Yeah, and sometimes the last thing that the kid wants to hear right after a tournament, whether he did well or not, is to a dissection of the game. Lalo na if the kid didn't do well. No? So sometimes the kid just wants to... and the kid probably just wants to, I just want to chill and ikaw na lang dada magkwento ng some other thing. But there's a formula also for that. Kasi syempre hindi mo maiwasan talaga ang parents. Na, if you want to point out, make a critique to your kid, let's say after the game, no? Dahil talagang hindi mo kaya. Talagang kailangan mong ilabas kasi ikaw naman ang may ratio yan. I have to try and what that specific ratio is yan. Parang, but for now, let's just say it's 5-2 ratio. Now I have to check again what I think it was 3-1 or so. Ano yung ratio? No? Let's say we're using the example of 3-1. No, meron ka kasi isang critique di ba? Kailangan may kasabay siyang tatlong magandang ginawa niya. Oo, na objective hindi yung nice hair or kasi it also trains us as parents to have a more balanced viewing of his performance na titingnan mo rin na maganda yung finish mo, 'di ba? I mean, the more specific the better, 'di ba? Ngayon, ang mangyayari kasi diyan, pag sundan mo yung ratio niyan, hindi mo pwede sabihin yung isang yon unless pero kang maiisip na tatlo. But I think the ratio was really 5-1 no? 5-1 ratio. But
that's a good one.
So, mangyayari, you'll end up actually not making the critique anymore kasi kung hindi ka na makaisip so parang you're being unfair. Di ba? And the only reason the ratio, the positive is more is simply because that's what we're trying to reinforce, diba? The good habits. No? Anyway, if the error was technique, no, that's something you fix na lang on the course. I mean, in the range, di ba? But parang, di ba? Yun yung license mo to say something. Negative. Kailangan may kapalit kang tatlo din. So, wala ka maisip. Shut up ka na lang.
Parehas ba yun sa yung sinasabing sandwich, di ba? Kung may...
Yeah, parang gano'n. Good, bad, good. Parang gano'n. Oo. Pero ano yun it's also good as a coach sometimes, no? If you try to comment on or let's say you handle a team, no? Para hindi naman palagi yung mali, no? You did do this defense or whatever. What are the things that you did well actually, 'di ba? Para naman nakikita niya na kasi 'di ba, lalo na ang golf, ang range session pa lang all these buckets, 'di ba? You're hitting pak. Parang syempre, tas wala siyang marinig na positive. Ano isipin ng bata, di ba? I spent an hour here. I didn't do anything right. Imposible naman yun. Di ba?
And then, yun, naisip ko ngayon. Say, if a kid grows up constantly hearing negative feedback, and then he ends up playing the game just to get that positive feedback. Parang, yun na nagiging purpose niya for playing is just to please the parent.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a healthy mindset in the long term. Yeah, you might actually get to the point where you please your parents. Pero, I mean, I'd rather play for myself rather than to please someone else, di ba? Parang gano'n.
Yeah. Yeah, tsaka yung ganun kasi, nagiging external na naman yung focus Di ba? You're out to prove. But that's beyond your control di ba? Whether your parents are pleased or not, you'll never know, di ba? So but you end up putting all your mental energy there versus tignan ko lang ano bang gagawin? Teka muna hindi ko pala bola pala nung kalaro ko, di alam mo yun.
The task at hand, di ba?
Yeah, yun yung ano dun pero wow, those were just ilang questions lang yun. Ito was
so much to talk about actually, you know?
Yeah. So, siguro for those who will get to watch this video, I mean, bear with us. We're not media guys, though. We're not like professional broadcasters.
Hindi tayo nag-makeup
yun na nga Wala. Tsaka naka-no shave challenge pa ako ngayong ECQ. But, I mean, we'd love to hear feedback, diba? I mean, we have limited, we don't have a set or anything like that. Pero
it's a start, It's a start.
Yeah, we'd like to hear more comments and questions on things that you'd want us to cover, based on Coach Mike's experience as a parent, as a coach, diba? As a midlifer. And same with me. We'd love to hear all those questions. Kasi there's so much to talk about. And hindi ko lang kasi minsan, if it's done kasi with peers, sometimes you're not as open, diba? There's that awkwardness. But at least here, you'll just listen to us. And then if you're too embarrassed to put the questions in the comment section, I mean, you can always DM us and send us a private
And we'll promise to keep your names private.
As much as possible.
As much as
but
possible.
yeah, we will, syempre, we will honor naman yung confidentiality. Pero, that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to this.
Tuloy na rin natin, 'di ba? Finally. Oh, we have to greet pala si 'di ba?
Yeah.
He said, batiin siya. Carlo Miguel. Yeah. We want you to be we want your face on camera soon.
Oh, para gumanda-ganda naman yung
Para yung aesthetics gumanda, mag-improve. Okay, yeah. So I guess yun muna, no? I think that was a lot already to digest. And we definitely we're gonna do this again, diba, Coach?
Yep.
Okay, that's On the Green with Coach Mike and Coach Lee.
All right.
So, thank you.
See you next time.
Okay.